person this guy is. And it wasn't enough to build the fastest growing insurance company. His message from day one was we were gonna go save America. And he's a guy who I can say single thing Patrick has ever said, he's always come through on his word. So would you please give a loud round of applause to the man who's made this all possible, Patrick Nurmagomedov! Tonight. Does anybody know who won the debate? I'm gonna give a name. I'll give a name based on how you sound. We'll pick that. And by the way, I think the biggest vote will be TGA to see who they'll vote for, right? Hey, Sean Mason. Hey, how about earlier how Dean Mason did? How did Dean Mason do earlier? John was in a rough spot because Dean was the first place, John was last, but still good. Make some noise for Chris Hart. How did Chris do? How about Mariana? Khabib and I, backstage, we were having a conversation together. Honestly, I think we may actually fight tonight because he was saying he's going to take me out. He says, you know, I fought you 4 other times. I think he's fought you 3 other times. He says, tonight's my 4th fight against you. So, we don't know what's going to happen. Last time I was going to go at him with Shaq. This time it's Khabib. I'm more concerned about him than Shaq, but we'll see. Anyways, guys, if you can grab seats, what I'm going to do, if you don't mind, is my wife is telling me, babe, if we don't take a picture tonight, these kids are going to go crazy. Can you please make some noise for my wife and my family and my kids? Billy, come here, buddy. By the way, just so you guys know, my friend Dylan here and Tico, Dylan wanted to get a Stefano Ricci sports coat. How do you think he looks? How does Dylan look? You like him? Come on, Pop. By the way, Brooklyn owns the stage. Like, she's not nervous at all, you see? Brooklyn, what do you think? Tap. Okay, all right, let's take a picture. Look over here. Brooklyn, if she's standing, let her stay, baby. She's enjoying it. Hey, just look at Sandra. Brooklyn, look at Sandra. Look at Sam.
They're pretty good.
She sees herself. That's you. What do you think about that? Okay, Brooklyn, next year, maybe you do some entertainment next year. Yes? Yes? Okay, give me a kiss. Give me a kiss. Okay, bro, you got it? Come on, let's do one more photo. Come on, let me do one more with you. Come here, man. All right. Billy, get in front of me, Billy. Actually, you know what? No, don't touch me. Oh, that's not taking touch me. Okay, look straight. Look at German Bishop. Look, ice cream. Sandal's got ice cream, look.
Hey.
Kiss? Okay. Okay, Tico, I don't know what happened with this one. We'll figure it out. So you're going to talk dirty to me. Just be gentle, please. Okay. All right. Okay, so the next speaker we're going to bring up is going to be an interesting one. Let me tell you what. How many guys love UFC? Who loves So, you know, think about how many in your life have ever gotten a black eye. Raise that if you haven't black eye before. How many of you have gotten into a fight and you've had your nose bloody? Anybody's ever had a nose bloody? Yes or no?
Yes.
Who's ever broken their nose before in a fight? Have you ever broken your nose before in a fight? So I want you to think about this. How many of you, hear me out for a second, of all the fights you got into, you fought a professional that has better precision to hit your nose to bleed? Or did you just fight regular people in the streets? Regular people in the streets. So I want you to think about this. There's a lot of things you can say about our next speaker. Many call him the coach of UFC. By the way, he's had 29 fights. He has never, ever lost a single fight, ever. And they say he's only lost one round, but obviously I'm not going to say that in front of you guys, because if I say it, he's going to be very upset with me. But they say there's no one round. But when we're in the back having a conversation together, we're talking about marriage. A great conversation with Khabib about marriage. It's an inside joke. But his manager and I are talking. He says, Patrick, do you realize why this man is the greatest of all time? I said, tell me why. He says, brother, Khabib has never, ever had a bloody nose or a scratch on his face or a black eye ever in 29 fights with some of the greatest fighters in the world. Did you hear what I just said? In 29 fights, this has never happened. He is the most popular Russian on Instagram with 35 million followers, okay? Many call him the greatest. He's got a lot of, when we're talking to him, we were having an entertainment conversation, but he's also a very value-based man. At 9 years old, I was showing the video to Dylan. He didn't believe me. I said, Dylan, you know he wrestled bears. He said, no, he didn't. I said, I'm telling you, he wrestled bears. I don't believe it. How many guys don't believe me that at 9 years old, he was wrestling bears? Who doesn't believe me? How many of you have seen the video of him wrestling bears at 9 years old? He was wrestling bears at 9 years old. Give it up to what many call the GOAT of UFC, Khabib Nurmagomedov.
Pull up to the scene of my cellar missing. Pull up to the scene of my cellar missing. Pull up to the scene of my cellar missing. Pull up to the scene of my cellar missing.
How you feeling? Good? So what do you think about when you're here in MGM Grand Arena? I think you got a couple experiences.
First of all, what's up guys? How are you? This is, I fight on this arena twice, and it's not a good place for you to joke too much.
It's not a good place to joke too much. So,
With me.
oh, for you. For you not to joke or for me not to joke?
No, for you to joke. Even it's not cagey, it's like
Right.
It's a little bit still dangerous.
So, am I safe though, or is there still a chance that there's danger for me?
This is depends on you.
This is Okay, so how many of you have seen him fight many times? How many guys have seen him fight? We can talk about the fighting, but we were having a conversation in the back, and you had a chance to meet my father, you met my wife, you met the kids, you met the family, you met the friends. My relationship with my dad is very, very important to me as a father and a son, and I come from the Middle East as well. What role did your father play in your life, in the way you look at life?
You know, my father was amazed, he was, first of all, he was my father, second, he was my coach, and we spent all my life, I spent time with him. Even when I was on training camp, I was at home, gym, everywhere. I was with my father, and he was like my friend. It was like very, very close relationship. And the father was like everything for me.
He was in the military. He was very much a disciplinarian when you studied kind of what his background was. Was his style of father, with the relationship with you, was he a friend from the beginning, or was he first trying to discipline you, turn you into a man, and then became a father-son friendship? Like, was he a guy that would say, "I love you, son," when he kissed you on the cheek or when he kissed you on the head? Was he like that kind of a father? Was a lot of discipline?
It's like in our culture, it's very hard to hear from father, "Oh, I love you." It's very hard. Because it's our culture, but we show our kids, "We love you." It's like I talk about when I was like 15, 16. Of course, when I was like baby, we say it's a lot, but when you become like 15, 16, when you become like man, it's like I say like before, it's like a lot of people joke with me. It's like love make your heart weak. You know what I'm talking about? Not agree?
Do I what?
You are not agreeing?
Do I not agree?
Yeah.
I think I agree.
No, I talk about like love make your heart weak.
Yes.
No?
Love make your heart weak.
I'm joking.
Okay. By the way,
And-
there's one thing about Khabib I got to tell you guys on the back. You see him, you think he's very serious, but there's a very low-key, underground, funny side to you. The people that are close to you, do you have a sense of humor, or is like, do you keep that to yourself?
It depends like how I feel energy.
Okay.
Like if I feel good energy with you, I can do it.
I respect it. It was very good fun talking to you in the back. It was very entertaining talking to you in the back. So go back to with Pops.
Yeah, it's like when I was like growing, but like I realized like father is my like real friend. Like when I was like 15, 16. Before that, I was thinking like, why this guy push me too much, like too much training, this, wrestling with the bears, like animals, like doing all this stuff. And I was competing in all sports, amateur, like freestyle wrestling, Greco-Roman, grappling, like combat sambo. Like I was competing everywhere, like judo. And like when I become like 15, 16, I become like very close with father. I realized like his system, I understand what he wants from me. I understand like everything, and we become like very close. Before that, maybe because of like difference of age, or maybe I was like teenager, like I don't know. Before that, I was like, of course, I was following all his rules, but most of the time I was disagree with him. And by 15, 16, I realized there is no freedom speech between you and your parents.
There is no freedom of speech. How old were you where you're kind of like, you know what, a lot of this stuff my dad's been telling me has been right. When I thought he was wrong, this guy knows what he's talking about. Was there a moment for you, or was that around the 15, 16 age?
No, it was like 15, 16.
15, 16 age.
Maybe 14, I don't remember. Like 14, 16.
Makes sense. And what were some of the values you picked up from him? Meaning, like, was there a set schedule? Was there like, you got to do this, you got to be respectful, you got to train? What were some values? Because it's very obvious when I watch you, or even in interviews, or even the way you fought Conor, which we'll get into here in a minute, it's extremely obvious. There is a couple things no one can disrespect with you, whether it's your faith and your father. In order to have that kind of loyalty, everybody has it, but to have it the level that you have it, there's got to be a certain level of admiration. What were some things your dad taught you that stuck with you at a young age?
It's like about me, like all my life, I have schedule, I have rules, I have discipline. And for me, it's all about numbers, I have to do most of them, like all things, like on time. Like you have to wake up on like 6, 7 when you train, after you come home, breakfast, go to school, come back, do homework, train, come back, eat, sleep, repeat. It's like this. Like a lot of people think like to become world champion, to become the best in the world. It's not easy thing. You have to be like you have to be focused on all your life. It's like it's about sacrifice, like about 30 years. Like next month I'm gonna be like 35. I find myself on meds when I was like 3, 4, I don't remember like exactly what, but I beginning work on the meds because when I was living in village, my father opened first gym in our house, and he began train like guys from village, you know. I was like 3 or 4 years, and since that time, like all my life, I was training by my father, and no day off. You know. I remember like all my life I was in the gym, and from that point, like, and of course, father teach me like my religion. Father teach me discipline, rules, and number one things it was respect. You have to respect gym, you have to respect coaches, you have to respect your sparring partners, you have to respect all people. You cannot fight on the street because you know how to help people. It was like all about respect, you know. And when somebody tried to like bully me or disrespect me, and this is not good idea, I think.
How old were you when the first time you knew you were dangerous? Like meaning, like for a person to fight you, like you know you have access to certain skill sets that could really hurt somebody.
I think it was 17 or 18.
Got it.
That time, because I'm from Dagestan, and we have traditional like most of the all kids they train, like doing some martial arts, like wrestling, boxing, judo, like whatever. But everybody train. Even like when you go to the school in your class, you have like 15 people like who can give you a hard fight. It's like become competition every day. Go to school and come back, you know. But I grew up with my brothers, and they all was training, and I have big support always. But anyways, you know, like when you fight alone, and it was like a big experience to growing in Dagestan, like between like 13 and 20th. I remember it was like too much fighting in the street. And when I was like 17 or 18, like I realized I can really hurt people. I remember like father told me like you cannot fight in the street because I teach you all life how to become world champion. And when you become 18, 19, when you can hurt people, you have to control yourself. It's very dangerous. This is almost the same thing like gun. You have gun and you have to control yourself. And around like 17, 18.
Yeah, I was asking in the back, I said, you know, I can only imagine if somebody just sees you, maybe they don't recognize who you are, and they had one too many drinks, and they try to pick a fight with you, and what you tell them. Has that ever happened? Where somebody doesn't know who you are?
A couple times happened here in the US, but in my hometown, like they all know me, it's like almost, I never had problem with it. But here, a couple times I have like,
What do you tell them? Do you say
I
this?
tell them I can smash your face. You have to calm down.
You just tell them very straight up.
It was 2012 when I just moved to California, when I just signed with UFC. My English was not good, and it was between my gym and hotel. It was like 5 minutes walking, and it was between like supermarket. And every day I go inside, buy something, come, and one old lady in Casa, she know me. And I was waiting on the line, and one drunk guy tried to bully me. It's like this, maybe 35, and that time like 35 to 40. He was big guy, and he tried to bully like everybody. He was drunk, and I told him, you have to be careful. It's not a good idea to joke with me.
Did he leave you?
No, he just stopped and he realized this is real talk. And he left me alone.
He left you alone. I love it. Going back to, you said every day was training, you got to respect all the stuff that your father was telling you. Khabib, was he selling you the dream that one day you're going to be a champion where you wanted to do it? Or was he setting the expectation, here's what you're going to do? You know what I'm asking? Like, was he saying, imagine one day you're going to be a champion, you're going to hold the belt, you're going to be so proud? Or was he saying, no, as a family, this is what we do. Out of our city, we're eagles. This is the, what was he selling you?
No. It's like, well, just since like first day I signed UFC, like in my mind I was UFC champion. Like it was no way somebody can stop me. And father always told me only one thing can stop you is like I think it's like lucky punch. Otherwise, if you're not gonna stop train like you train now, if you're gonna still focus, I don't think somebody can stop you because you can wrestle, you can punch, you can do all these things all night. You know, you have good condition, you have big heart. I think you can become world champion. Just you have to be focused. And like not only just he say, I truly believe this too. You know, it's like I was inside my heart. I was like I was competitive. Like even now, even I still like. I believe I can beat like anybody in the world. Even now, I'm not old. A lot of people forget about why I retired. Not because I become old. It was because I lost my father because he passed away, and I don't want to do this without him. And that's why I stopped. Not because I become old. I'm only 34 years old. You know this. You check my birthday. 28. I was competitive since I think like since when I was born. You know. Many people they train like 10, 15, 20 years. They have good skills. They know how to wrestle, punch, kick, everything. But inside they are not warriors. They are professional, but they are not warriors. You know, when you're professional and you inside your heart you are warrior, these kind of people can become champions and defend their title, like being the best in the world.
I do want to talk about competition. I don't want to forget that, but before I go there, I know when it comes down to athletes you like, you're a big, I believe, Muhammad Ali fan. I think you're a Michael Jordan fan, and I think you like Ronaldo. If I'm not mistaken, those are some of the athletes you like, right? And in an interview, you know, hey, if you could meet anybody, who would it be? You said Michael Jordan, right? And then you said when you were doing your documentary, I believe you said, one of my friends told me to watch The Last Dance. You said, I already knew he was the greatest, but I didn't know his whole story. Then when I watched The Last Dance, I really realized who he was, and I wanted to meet him. So, it's a tricky question for you, okay? I don't want this to lead to a fight, but I'm gonna ask you.
Go ahead, let's go.
Michael wins 3. You seen all 10 episodes?
Then he loses, then he wins.
Then he loses. No, he wins 3, then his dad dies, and he retires.
Okay.
He retires, and then his second drive was he made a comeback because it was to fight for him on his second time around coming back. You're a very intuitive guy. When you watch that documentary, that scene when he comes and he holds the thing and he's on, you know what I'm talking about, he's on the floor in tears crying. Did any thought cross your mind to say, like, what if I come back one more time? You know, Dad, should I come back and beat you? Did that ever?
Woo!
First of all, I am not Michael Jordan. And of course, I watched this documentary and it's like the best thing I ever watched. I don't know, like, I think many people here, they don't watch this because there's like all business people, you know, it's like they talk about money. And about Michael Jordan, I think like this episode, like this moment, it's really touched my heart. It's really touched my heart, and no, I don't think so. I don't.
Why not?
Like because
Come back.
little things come to my mind, you know, like, first of all, because of my mother. First of all, because of my mother, and. But I don't think so.
I don't think so. so it leaves a little bit open. It's not 100%. I don't think so. You said I'm not Michael Jordan, right? Did you say I'm not Michael Jordan because you want to say I'm living my life and that's my life, that's his life? Or are you saying I'm not Michael Jordan because you want to say like I'm not as great in my game as he was in his game? What do you mean by I'm not Michael Jordan?
Now you play game with me.
I am.
even you, me, everybody, I was best in the world, but I have limit. Like with money, with our eyes, with our power, God give everybody his limit. Even if you have $150 billion in your bank account, even you, Zach Zuckerberg is gonna be Elon Musk, who's richer than you, you know? It's like everybody have limit, you know? And I don't wanna play political games, I don't wanna do this. I just wanna help people, inspire people to spend my time with my family, with my mother, with my kids, and just being good person. And this is my goal.
I'm the same way, you know, I don't like to talk a lot about politics. It's just, I'm not a fan of politics, but so.
Who knows? People like drama.
They're laughing. They think this is a joke. We're having a serious conversation. So, I mean, you know, you said there's levels to fighting, right? It's easy now for you to do what you're doing for 30 years. You were training from 3, 4 years old. You know, like it's been non-stop. Okay, non-stop. And in the competitive space, there's a lot of different things. And when it comes down to competition, one person could be better in skill sets, but mentally they're weak, or temptations, or habits, or distractions, or friendships, or picking the wrong coach, studying the wrong philosophy, getting distracted, opponent confusing you from your game plan, and you're going this way. As you've gone from the levels of a kid learning how to fight to next level, street fight, 17 years old, you know, boom, and then next, then you're champion, the best in the world. What have you noticed at each level where you're like, yeah, that guy's not going to be able to compete because he's not willing to do X, Y, Z? What have you noticed at each level?
You know, it's like in fighting game, there is levels. They have levels, for sure. Like, for example, on this arena, I was 23 years old, and I have only one fight in UFC, and it was my second time in my life I see cage. Because when I was competing in Russia, it was no cage, it was ring. And I was fighting versus 29 years old, 14 ranked in the world. He have 17 fights in UFC, and one of the best. He was one of the best of that time. I was fighting with Racing Tibal, and it was like very tough fight for me. I win like unanimous decision. But this fight brings me at a different level because I compete with him. We share cage together, and I beat him. I become on another level. And every fight can bring you on another level. If you between fights, gonna learn. If you between fights, don't stop and train. And this is, I talk about experience. Now there is one more thing, like about your mental toughness. Because when you go to the cage, you have so many emotional come same time on your head. And you have to live this, every emotional they have separate places. But if everything comes on your mind and this can make you weak, this can make you break, this can make you strong, you know. It's like these things, big difference between regular fighters and champions. You know, and for example, it was 2012 here, and after 6 years, I fight neighbor and Timo. It was biggest fight in UFC history. Like millions people watching, and it was like big pressure. This guy, like you say, he was talking too much.
Talking about Khabib.
Yes, and it was like very big fight, and it was like big pressure on me. And I remember when I was talking with my father, and he told me, hey, remember, you know how people make diamonds? Diamonds make it under big pressure. If you can handle this pressure, you're gonna become diamond. But if you lose, you're gonna be loser. Just be careful. You have to understand. You have to understand what you want. When time comes, you have to shine. And it was very good advice for me. I remember because he was in Pakistan because he didn't have visa. He cannot come to support me. I was here in Vegas. I handled this. But I was calling a lot of guys. I see a lot of fights, and I can say like a lot of guys they broke before they come to the cage. Broke. But inside the gym, they are like beasts. But when time comes, when you go to the arena, when 16,000, 20,000 people look at you, you cannot shine because they cannot deal with the emotions. You know, it's very hard to control because so many things come same time in your head.
How do you deal with it?
You know, I cannot say like exactly the way how I deal with this. Like I think you have to bond with this. This is what I think.
You think so?
You can train yourself. You can have like. You can become like experienced fighter, train yourself, everything. But if you don't have like this mentality, like somebody gonna break you.
So it's not like you're sitting there, you're praying to God, or you're thinking about what your dad told you, you're going to a nice place in your life, or you're tapping into comments of what that person said, or you're going to your game plan. You're not doing that.
This is different things. This is about what you believe. This is about what about your faith. You know, like what I believe. Like anything can happen with you. This is for reason. And it's like if you lose, you lose. But of course, I don't want to lose. But like it's very hard to explain. It's very hard to explain that, you know, this is about your faith. Like maybe people gonna think, oh, this guy's too much. Like, how to say something.
Religious?
No. Underestimate. You cannot underestimate. Like my mind was like, how this guy can stop me? I train in my life every day, no day off. How this guy can stop me? Okay, only one way how he can stop me, like it's supposed to be like lucky punch or something like this. Otherwise, like I'm gonna try to take this guy down. If this guy stops me one time, I'm gonna try to one more. And it was work always, you know. And it's like, but you know what was a fighting game. I don't think you can understand.
I respect that. That's why I'm asking. I'm trying to learn your world. But you know, there's some of the mindset stuff that applies in different areas of life where in sales, sometimes you're coming across a sale or an opportunity where if you close this or you recruit this person, it could be a life-changing business deal. And some people go in nervous, they don't know how to handle it. Some people go in and they deliver, so it applies to business. Very different with the pressure on you guys, you got eyeballs. Like when you're gonna go sell an insurance policy, there's 48 million people watching. It's just you and the family, right? So 2.4 million, by the way, people watch the biggest fight ever, pay-per-view fight ever in the history of UFC was Khabib against Conor. I don't know if you guys knew this or not. Holds the record for the biggest fight ever. When? Absolutely. So, when Conor was saying what he was saying, were you, because you were listening to what he was saying. Yeah, some people are like, they're acting like they're not listening. Like you were, because he was to your left. You're listening and looking at what he's saying, and you're actually internalizing the words. Why are you doing that? Are you doing it because you need and want more rage to destroy you? Or are you doing it because you actually are paying attention to what he has to say?
No, I like to listen to people when they talk. It's very interesting because you can listen to them and you can understand where the IQ. If you are stupid, what you do? You cannot do nothing. How you can, if you cannot handle with yourself, how are you gonna control myself? How? If you cannot control yourself, if you cannot control your family, you have to be quiet. Just don't talk in front of a lot of people because they're gonna understand who you are. It's better don't talk, you know. And like I was listening to him. Okay, maybe he says something like good things. Maybe I'm wrong. I was like, everybody make mistakes. I was listening to him. These guys like course, this is. I'm like, okay, these kind of people, they never gonna meet you. This is two different levels. You have to be little bit. At least you have to be smart. Because when you go to the cage, there is a lot of things. You have to work, you know. And when I listen to him, I understand his level.
You listen to him.
I listen to him, of course, when he's sitting in press conference, this guy talk all this.
Is that what you said, I have him, or did you know before?
No, because their skills, no way on same level, okay? Because my skills, like fighting, his skills is different, you know? This is what I was believing, you know. But, okay, let's listen to this guy. Maybe he's like, where is his mind, mental, you know? But when I listen to him, okay, this is your level. Okay, welcome to the cage. October 6th, we're gonna talk. I'm gonna show you who you are. This is what I was telling all these countries. We will see.
When you fought a lot of different people, you fought Dustin, who's a great stand-up guy, you fought Justin, you fought Connor. These guys are all guys that pack a good punch. Who's the toughest puncher? Like, who's the hardest puncher with you that you felt and said this was a good punch?
I think it was Justin Gaethje. He hit like a truck.
Justin
He hit like a truck. But it was one thing what breaks him. Like when he hit me, like I remember it was right uppercut and left hook. Like it was his best shot. The fight, and I told him, like, look, this is everything what you have. So I was talking to him, like first conversation. I like Justin Gaethje. And I was talking with him, like after this combination, I told him, this is everything what you have. And end of the first round, he stopped me. And I told him this is jet lag because you come to Abu Dhabi 1 week before the fight. I'm here 1 month, and I know what is this, where I was after 1 week, because this is like desert. You have to be there like at least couple weeks before the fight. And I know myself like 1 week before, 1 week when I come, like I cannot sleep. You know, I sleep only a couple hours a day. Like in training, I'm tired, and I'm like, okay, this guy landed Saturday, and in fight Saturday, it's gonna be his peak jet lag. And I'm like, inside the cage, I told her, you have jet lag. And I bet you, I feel this is mental thing. This is not only about your skills. You have to do 100% with your mental and skills. When everything comes together and you're not old, when you're 32 years old, your skills is good, your mental is good, everything comes together, then you can shine.
Better angry, or do you fight better more just at peace, focus on you?
You have to relax. These kind of things teach me my coach Khabib from American Kickboxing Academy, AKA. And I remember when I first time come to AKA, he let me spot. My English was like almost zero. And he told me like relax. Like, relax sounds like I have to push hard. And all the time this guy, he was like, hey, you have to listen to me, relax. And I'm like, okay, relax, I have to go hard. I'm smiling, you know? And after 1 year, I realized, relax, you have to calm down. And I come to the coach, I told him like, coach, sorry about that. Because I was thinking like always, like, relax, I have to push hard. He says, no way.
You really thought relax out for me? Oh my God.
Because at that time I know yes, no, let's go. Like first round,
Classic.
relax, it was something new for me. Okay, relax. Sounds like
destroy you, right? You thought it had different meaning. That makes sense. So I shouldn't say to you right now, listen, Khabib, just relax. It's gonna
No, now I'm not. Now you don't want to relax.
I'm saying. So it's interesting you say that because when I watched you fighting Conor, you know, I felt like you were fighting for your country, for your last name, for your father. Like when you beat him at the end, he tapped. You were not letting go. So you didn't seem too relaxed. You know what I'm saying? You seemed like you wanted to keep going, like you really wanted to hurt him. What was different about the fight with Conor than all the other fights?
On this fight, I was very relaxed. I was controlling myself. Since when we beginning everything, like press conference, this way, I was controlling myself. Yeah, like end of the fight, it was too much.
You lost a little control.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I'm human too. Everybody makes mistakes. But this fight, this choke, it was not a mistake. It was my plan. Making Kyra and choke him out. This is what I told him. I'm gonna bring you to the big ocean.
What do you think about Conor as in regards to, like, you know, you have the best pay-per-view, he's got 4 out of 5. When you think about his level of promotional marketing, selling, you know, when he fought, you know, Mayweather, the smack talking, you know, that part of the game that kind of elevates UFC, and now yourself being a coach and you have your own league and you're, you know, developing fighters and you're running your own league. Are you, if a person comes in that they're going to be like that and loud like Conor, are you going to say relax, relax? Or now your role has kind of changed. You're kind of like the Dana White. Are you now sitting there saying, I got to go find my Conor that's loud so we can sell more pay-per-views? Or do you want most of them to be relaxed?
I think it's too much attention.
Too much attention?
What do you think?
If you want to sell pay-per-view, you know, it's a marketing strategy. I mean, yesterday I went to Dana White, invited me over. I was with him yesterday, briefly, and he has this super slap thing. I don't know if you've watched the super slap videos. You've never seen it.
I said that I didn't follow it.
You don't follow the sport yet.
Because in our mentality, it's slap, it's not slap. It's better to punch first.
Punch him and slap him.
No, don't slap nobody. Slap is not.
Is it good?
No. You cannot slap me. Because how you gonna slap me? It's not good.
What do you think about the Diaz? He likes slapping from Stockton.
This is all, this is, I don't know, for America it's okay.
Yeah, it is
I
too
don't know. For me it's not okay to slap. Even if I am gonna have a chance, I'm never gonna slap people. It's better punch his face. This is different mentality.
I got it. So it's kind of like you're going to fight again and say, listen, because I have respect for you, I'm going to punch you in the face and say,
Okay, pushing, like, but never slap.
Is that because it's an
Better
insult?
is speaking like
Insult.
no, because like slap to the face. It's like very disrespectful.
Okay, yeah, that's what I think. Yeah, insults. I got you. So now, as a coach, you know, we got the last 5 minutes here. Khabib, as a coach, you know, sometimes like, as a performer, you know your drive, like you know your ambition. You know, for a person to be the best in the world, you have to push yourself to certain levels that even others can't push you. You have to go even more than your coaches are pushing you sometimes, right? Then you flip and you become a coach, okay? And you're coaching others. And you see somebody that's got a lot of talent and capabilities of going, and this guy can actually be a major fighter. But you notice certain areas, you know, you push, they break, or something happens to them. How hard or different is it for you to go from the mentality of a fighter to now you have to teach that fighter mentality and coach these guys?
It's very sensitive things to coaching somebody. But when I was growing, like my father was coach. He was my coach and he was training other people. And I was seeing like how we train, how we coach. his style, everything. When I moved here in 2012, and I become very close with Coach Javier, and I had 11 years. This is big time, and I get from him this experience too. And when I finished my career and started coaching guys to cornering, like on that time I already had very big experience to coaching, and I know how to affect people. I know what they want, and it's very dangerous things when you don't train somebody like 8 weeks, like or 3 months, or you don't know his skill and you try to corner him. It's very dangerous, but you don't know nothing about him, what you're gonna do, what advice gonna give you. Because there is not only skill, there is about mental things too. Like you have to understand each other with your student, with your fighter. You know? It's very dangerous. Like when I was like 2014, 15, I remember like when somebody asked Coach Javier to corner somebody, he said no. I'm like, Coach, come on, be humble. People ask you because you're a famous coach. He said, no, don't work like this. Because I don't know this guy. I don't train him. How am I going to corner him? Because I don't know his mental game, I don't know his preparation, I don't know his skill, his background. If I'm going to just go there with water, give him water, hey, do this don't work like this. Never do this. I'm like, it was almost 10 years ago. I'm like, I don't understand. Right now I understand because it's very hard things. It's very hard things. You have to be close with your fighter, with your student, and you have to understand. You guys have to understand each other, you know. Very good. Connection is like very important. Connection and energy. I believe energy. I believe connection. Some people take energy, some people give energy. You know. There is so many things. It's very sensitive.
I want to go a little bit more on this because you talk about how in the coaching phase, when you're working with somebody and developing them, you go from being their friend first, then you mentor them, then you challenge them. First, we have a relationship. We break bread. Maybe you come over to my house, I cook for you, and I'm learning about you. I'm learning about your father. I'm learning about your mother. Now we have some kind of a trust together. Then I see how big you want to go. Then I see what your dreams are. Then I give you direction. I say, look, if you're serious, here's what I would do. Then you mentor them. And then it gets to a point that you have to challenge them. The next phase is more pain. The next phase you have to push a little bit more. The sensitivities, how do you find out how big somebody thinks they can push them to that level? I don't know if you understand. Like, let's just say if I'm wanting to train with you and my outcome is just to be a good fighter locally, and then you fight with somebody else and this guy's like, no, I want to be a champion, or I want to go into UFC, or I want to go to get a belt, or whatever it may be. How can you identify who is the person that's going to go to that level and who's not?
It's very easy. It's not that hard. With my experience, it's very easy. You know, I can train within a couple of days and I understand what you want to do. And a lot of guys, I tell them, brother, you don't have to spend too much time because you want to work, you want to work and you want to train. Don't work like this. You have to sacrifice all your life if you want to become champion. But same time, if you have to make money, for you to live, it's better make money. Because if you are not ready to sacrifice everything, even 1%, it's have to be like 100%, you have to be focused to become world champion. If you're working every day like 6 hours and you want to train like 4 or 5 hours and you have to sleep, eat, like a lot of things, you know. Like between trainings, you have to train, after sleep, then at night time you come again train. You know, it's like there is so many things you cannot do. And one of the things, like what father always told me, you don't need to work. You don't need to, just stay focused, train, and your time gonna come. You don't need to. I remember like, when I was 18, 19, I'm like, father, I'm like a little bit shy to ask money all the time because I'm not a kid anymore. Like, why you need money? For what? You have house, you have food, this is money for you to go training and come back, sleep, train, eat, repeat. Why you have to work? Like, stay focused, your time gonna come. And I'm like, okay, because I don't have choice.
You have no choice.
I think many people here, they don't understand this kind of connection between father and son.
You think they do or they don't?
They don't.
Tell me why.
Because America, freedom, too much freedom.
Oh, wow.
It's have to be always
I
rules.
understand.
You have to put always rules. There is like, without rules, it's like, even mixed martial arts, we do everything, but we have rules. You can do whatever you want, but don't bite. No, you cannot bite. Don't go to the balls, eyes. You understand what I mean? There is rules. Like, we call it like, it's like 30 years ago, it was like, no rules fighting. It was like this. But there is always those rules, because people call it because we can wrestle, we can punch, we can kick, we can choke, we can do everything. And people think there is no rules fighting, but there is so many rules.
On Saturday
It's
against
like,
Japan.
it doesn't matter where you're from, Russia or US, it's have to be always rules, discipline, and safety.
Wrestling with a bear, right? And I showed it to my son. He didn't believe it. He's like, "There's no way that's a real video with the bear."
I'm gonna wrestle with him.
You got to wrestle with him. He's the one that shook your hand. He was talking. But wrestling with the bear. But I also watched the videos with you and your dad, where it's this one. I don't know where you guys are at, and you're trying to take him down, and you can't. You know which one I'm talking about? There's a video where, you know, he's holding. You're trying to take him down, and you're like, "Look, he's not letting me take him down." You know. With the fighting, that relationship, the dynamic. When was it when you knew you could beat your dad, or even till the end you could never beat your dad?
No. Like, my dad always say, when you go to the match, there is no father or brother. Like, you, my enemy, company. Like that. But when I was like, I think, 2021, it was a close fight. Not fight, wrestling. And I think when I was like 23, when I just become UFC fighter, I just signed a contract. That time it's a little bit changed. I feel like when I go with him, it's like even 21, it was still close fight, like close wrestling match. No, like wrestling. And 23, 24, I start to give him problem, you know, like around, like when I was wrestling with him, I can make him tired of a little bit, like. I feel, because between us it was like 26, 27, 26 years old. When I was 23, it was like 48. You good with numbers?
23.
When I was 23.
He was what?
He was what?
He was 48.
No, he was 46 or 45.
He's 40.
You told me you check everything
I
about
don't know his
But I'm 1988. When I was 23, how old was my father?
Now you're giving me that.
Let's go.
He said 68, 20 years.
Come on, you make so many millions. You don't...
That's crazy, huh?
He was already.
Crazy, right?
No. 1962.
Yeah.
I am 1988.
So it's
When I
crazy,
was
man.
23, how old was my
That's
father?
crazy.
Wow.
But you know what I'm wondering? Based on what you said about Lindsay boys, and can we make some noise if you're a proud father of a son?
Yeah. Woo! Woo! Yeah.
From listening to you, I figured out what we do wrong in America by listening boys. I think in Russia, fathers, where you're from, they instead of having their kids get different gifts, they have them wrestle with a real bear. In America, fathers give their sons a teddy bear. So maybe more we need to kind of like practice saying, "Hey son, you want to be a man? Go wrestle a bear." Anyways, give it up.
You guys are having a wrestle.
The metal length is wrong. Okay, let me put this here, and I can talk to you for hours. Belly.
Thank you guys. Thank you so much.
Gotta do for you. You're a Ronaldo fan. We got you a signed ball by Ronaldo CR7. Hope you enjoy this game.
Oh shoot! Oh shoot! That's crazy.
Oh, I love Cristiano, but I'm fan of the old Ronaldo.
Okay, we'll get you done as well. Thank you, brother. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. Thank you. Give it up, Khabib!
What are you saying, man?